Yeah, we live up in this. Good morning, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever. I am Anthony. This is Samantha in the building. We appreciate you guys rocking with us and replaying and watching and all that great stuff and then some. Make sure at this point right here, you start sharing. Sharing is caring. And tag another couple that might need to be in this conversation or just might need to add to the conversation. We'll see this on replay. So we're going to have a spirited Hot 15 conversation. So make sure you join. If you blink, we'll be gone. So today we're talking about what does your village look like? All right, so hold on tight, hold tight, hold tight. And I'm struggling to find my intro. There you go. Bam!
The short version.
Hold on. I'm sharing.
You can outsmart your own self. That make no sense.
So, so today we're talking about what does your village look like? Some may call it a support system, but with a village, it's not about what you can get out of it. It's about more or less a give and take. Who's around you, to help you through things as well as you help others. So nobody feels like they're alone in this journey. Um, so I'm gonna do the handoff.
We're not doing that.
He's not doing that. Oh,
Come on.
but you busted out. Okay, so what? So we're talking about what does your village look like? So my baby's not feeling her best today, so just bear with us.
And boss is making me work.
See, why should we make it? See, I'm not about to do that. Nah. Make sure you share, guys. Make sure you share. If you're gonna watch me be a bad husband, just go and share it.
Oh,
Oh.
not bad.
um. So yeah, it's important to have a good village or people that you can talk to when you're going through, or even when you're not. Like someone you can kind of commune with, ideas and things of that nature. Because it's important to the health of your family, of your relationship, because it's always good to sometimes bounce ideas just to make sure that just kind of do a checkup, about how's everything going, between each other. Because if you're not communing with somebody and you're always like isolated, then things can get really worse than they should be. And that's happened with us sometimes because we weren't connected with to anybody that we can just have a conversation about what's going on. And some things are small, some things are trivial, and you just need somebody to tell you stop tripping. You tripping out about this one little issue, and it keeps things from escalating. But also it allows an opportunity to grow. It allows an opportunity to learn things because you'll learn different parenting styles. You'll learn different ways that people operate in their marriage that will truly surprise you because you're like, wow, I never looked at this that way, or I never thought about doing this or that, and it gives you an opportunity to really grow within yourself, as well as like a husband to husband. You get to see certain traits, you get to see certain things, and what they always say, iron sharpens iron. So it gives you an opportunity to get better in your relationships and things like that.
Here's the thing. 9 times out of 10, you set up everything. When you get pregnant and you get ready to have a kid, you decide people gonna be their godparents. Which your godparents are really like a backup. They're there, if you can't do something. They're there, if something tragic happens. They're there to offer extra love. If you can be the bad cop, they're the good cop for all the what ifs. But a lot of times when we get married, we almost do the opposite. We get married and we limit some of our friendships. We limit some of our connections because We think it's supposed to be about just me and you, or we limit some of the people because, oh, she's single, I can't hang out with her no more. Right. Oh, he's single, I can't hang out with them anymore. Or my wife don't like this one, or my wife don't like that one, or my husband doesn't like this one, and so we get married and we do the opposite. Right. And that can be to our own detriment. It's like the only voice or reason you have is your own. Right. You and her can't agree on something basic, and all you have is your voice convincing you you're right. There's nobody to bounce stuff off of. Being around other couples, you come to realize that we all go through the same thing in some degree. Yeah. Mine may look a little different, but it's the same general struggles that other couples go through. Also, having people around you is kind of like when you get weak, you have somebody that can come and lift you up. When you like, okay, I had enough. This marriage thing is not what it's cracked up to be. Right. You have people that say, oh, well, we had a season where we felt like that. It's not a big deal. It just helps for you to gain some different perspective. Right. No, nobody can change your mind. Right. No, people can't change you into something that you're not. But different perspectives go a long way. We learned through trial and error because there was a large period of time when it was just he and I. Right. There wasn't no friends. There wasn't any other real couples that we were around. There wasn't a lot of that. It was just us. And we kind of learned the hard way, to create a village of our own, to create kind of like a safe haven. Sometimes you go out and everybody's working and life is happening. And, right. For us, there's ministry, there's work, right. there's kids, and you lose sight of just being a couple sometimes. So when you have that support system, you have some other people that say, hey, let's go to dinner. Or, hey, you guys, here, drop kids off. Right. All those great little added things. Not only that, you get somewhere where you can share your experiences and share them in confidence. Sometimes it's hard talking about the things you struggle with behind closed doors in a marriage. But when you have other married couples, yes. It does make it easier because these are other people that are living the same thing you're living. It's a lot of reasons why we found that it was important. It was important for our children too. Right. Sometimes how you see your parents is like, I don't know if I can be a wife like mommy is. Right. Mommy do everything. I don't want to be like that. Right. So now you give your kids other examples yes. of couples. And, you let them know they can kind of create the space that they want to live in. Right. You've heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Right. Well, a village is always good. Yes. But you have to be careful about this village. Right. Who you invite yes. into your village. Definitely. Who you let, even visit your village. You have to be careful. And you have to understand who people are. Sometimes it's just the associates. Right. Well, they cool. Maybe when we go out to dinner, they funny. They all right. But when you're going through something, that's not the person that you want to talk to.
How would you say, you would find out, how can you sometimes vet the kind of people that you're going to be around or the kind of couples?
I will say, for me, there's a couple of prerequisites that I look for. Okay. As far as being around other couples. Right. I honestly don't want to be around a couple that don't want to be around each other. Right. I have enough days where I look at him and I'm like, is it him again, Jesus? Right. So the last thing I want to do is be around a couple that every time I talk right. to the wife, she like, oh, I'm tired of looking at him. Right. Because the days that I feel like I've had enough, she already had enough. Right. She can't help me. Right. So that is the top one for me. I want to be around couples that want to be around each other. Right. Couples, okay. I don't want to be around an Ike and Tina couple. Right. that they argue and they're angry
Right.
with each other
Right.
all the time.
Right.
That's not the kind of couple I want to be around. I want to be around a couple, not saying you can't argue or disagree,
Right.
because, arguments have levels to it. So I'm fine with disagreements, but I don't want to be around somebody that argues all the time. Everything is an argument. No matter where they go, no matter what's going on, they arguing. That's not a couple that's going to make my list. So one for me would definitely be they enjoy being with each other.
Okay.
They like each other.
Right.
Not just love each other, you have to like each other.
Right. Right.
Two would definitely be that their marriage doesn't look like a combat zone from the outside. And don't get me wrong, you never really know what goes on in somebody's house.
Right.
But when I'm with you, I don't want you
Fighting and getting at each
calling
other.
your wife lazy.
Right.
I don't want you, making jokes that make me feel uncomfortable.
Right.
You're not going to make it to my circle.
Right.
Let's see. A third one for me would be, I think a couple that definitely has forever in mind.
Okay.
Not somebody who's like, girl, that's my second marriage, and
I don't know if we're gonna
right.
make it.
Like, I don't care if I have a third. Like,
Right. Constantly talking about divorce.
right. I want to
I got
be
you.
around, a couple that has forever in mind. Like, look, he can say whatever he wants, but he's stuck with me.
Right.
I want them to at least see a future with their mate. So I think that would be like my top three, just off the top of my head, because I had not thought
About it.
about that question. So
I mean,
for you, what would make a couple?
definitely someone that wants to be around each other. That's like.
You gotta pick your own three.
Now,
You can't
nope,
pick mine.
I'm still in them. We together a long time. We got probably the same thing. But that is one that like to be around each other. Someone, for me, like if I'm connected, and I'm connected with the guy, someone that respects his wife and not talking about other women. Regardless if we just me and him together.
Not a lusterizer.
Right, not a lusterizer, right. Staring at, I mean, there's always going to be someone, but it's not like eyeballing and, if I wasn't married, those kind of comments is very off-putting, and they're not a good indication of a focused person on marriage. Like, so it's doing things like that. We may not have exact interest, because like I'm not a sports person, and a lot of guys that maybe are. So that's not really, but we can connect when it comes to marriage and family, and the crazy stuff that goes in that. And trust me, I got enough guys that connect right there, and we can have conversation for hours about the things we don't know. So, but as someone that's interested in getting better at their marriage, they're like, man, I don't know why I keep missing or dropping the ball at this point. I don't know why, I'm in this, I keep hitting this wall, but they understand that I'm working to get better at my relationship because I'm choosing to do this, not like it's the old school ball and chain and things of that nature. They have a different mindset when it comes to marriage, and they want, and like she said, just to wanting more. They want forever. This isn't something they trying. This is something that they're gonna make work. This thing is going to work. And they don't have there's no options. There's no options. So that would be mine, because if it has to be, marriage has to be a priority. Your wife has to be a priority, and that's the people that I want inside our village. Because like when there's couples that struggle with just, you don't even want to be around them when they're constantly either bickering or getting at each other. And don't get me wrong, there could be a moment. We're not saying perfect, because we can have some great couple. We can be with you 4 or 5 times, and then just one day you guys are like at about 8, and then we bring up a topic and you go to 10. And I get it. It sucks, because I hate to be the one beat it, or I'm like, oh man, we picked the wrong night to come over.
What does your 10 look like?
Right, that too. How do you disagree? How do you get at each other? Because you have moments, and then it's like, you know what? I'm gonna just walk away right now. And be able to separate and have an understanding that we just ain't gonna agree. whatever it is, whatever he had done or whatever she has done that has caused this friction. It's just like, yeah, today's just not a good day. It could be something past they haven't dealt with, and things of that nature. But if they still want to be together, still love each other, where I like them, it's just either this one hurdle that we can't get over, that we're trying to work on, and things of that nature. That's fine. But you're right. If their 10 is cusses, flipping the table over, like
Talking about tomorrow.
talking about right, taking jabs, like, I mean, and see, there's jabs, but then there's like just jugular, like, oh, like, really, what happened last night, and start, talking about everything that you just like, how you can't even, sorry is not going to even cover this, like there, like there's certain things I can say that I'm like, I mean, I was just a little upset, and she was like, it's fine. There's something he's like, nah, man.
Yeah, not in front of other people.
Right, that too. It's like, right. It's one thing getting at each other alone, but then another thing, a whole nother level, if I'm getting at you in front of other people and I'm talking about things that nobody else know,
Nobody else
should know, right? Bringing out our secrets, and so it's
so
those matter. Okay.
Should your village look like? Should all your village pick look like my village picks?
I think they should be close. I think they should.
I mean, like, what if you like a couple, right?
Right.
And I'm like, I ain't really feeling them. So what happens? Do they still make the cookout? Do we?
We might see them a little bit. They may not just. I believe we need to kind of both be in the same place for them to be like what do we say? Because I think the confidant, what is it, the comrade and the constituent,
Right.
that still fits into even who we choose in our circle. So they can be like a constituent. They can be kind of connected, but because you may not gel with her or him, you be like, I don't know, he still got a question mark over his head. They would have to kind of sit on the outside until either you feel comfortable, because I could try to lay out the whole the whole case for them, but you just like and then again I'm like, if you're not feeling it, then fine. We'll limit our connection to either big groups and things of that nature. But they might not be worthy of just cutting off, because I'm like, they're not horrible. You're just not totally you're not comfortable. Because that matters. Us being comfortable, being able to, because it's nothing worse than having someone in your house and you're trying to do one-on-one and you're not comfortable. You're like, wait, you don't leave yet? Because that's going to happen. That's what you're thinking, like, what time is it? He ain't gone yet? He keep talking. I'm yucking it up. Tell that story again. And you just like, I'm ready for them to go. And so it's I need my partner, to be just as comfortable as I am. So I think no, it wouldn't be anything too intimate. Like I said, cookouts, things where, hey, we're gonna invite some couples over. They could be part of the sum, But the few that we like, hey, we're gonna try something that you need to be comfortable with, then no, definitely not. All right.
Okay, that's fair enough. At the end of the day,
Yes.
To help anything that's going to help your relationship be successful, that's going to inspire longevity, that's going to inspire togetherness. We're all for that. And a village looks like different things to different people. So there's no one size fits all. Your village may look like just a bunch of female friends on your side that you can talk to. Like he said, there's a cookout, everybody come over. And his village may look like a bunch of guys, that he feel like he can talk to. The important thing is to have, to be aware of your surroundings. The important thing is to be aware of what your relationship needs. And what your relationship needs is going to the need is going to change, dependent upon your spouse. Your spouse is going to change. We grow, we change. you know, the way we think change, our perspectives change. So does our needs.
Right.
When different things happen, when different levels of maturity, with age, our needs change. Right. And so it's important that when the need changes, that you're aware enough to rise to the occasion and meet the need, to grow with your spouse, to grow in your marriage together collectively, but also as individuals. Like when he grows and learns something different, it forces me to grow as well, because now I gotta learn, or at least I want to have an idea of what it is that's happening with him, what's happening for him, just in an event to be able to have conversation about it. If I'm not interested and I don't know nothing, he's gonna be looking elsewhere to talk about it. Right. Other people to engage. Right. So for me, my goal is always, when he grows and his likes change and his focus change, at the very least, I try to learn enough so I can inquire. Or so I can listen to a story without feel like he's hammering a nail through my head. Right. Those things are important. So, as the needs of your relationship change, I think it's important that you keep those things in mind. It may be a time where you have a village and it's heavy. Right. Like, okay, we're doing a lot of couple stuff, and then it may be a time where you take a break and focus on just you and him or you and her. Right. And that's fine. As your needs change, so should your actions. This very short conversation was just, to just drop that in your mind, especially a lot of people, we've been quarantined for like a year. We've been home. Things have been different. Right. So once, the tide changes and, people are starting to get out or whatever, your spouse is going to be very different. Right. This was a long season of this virus, a long season of change. A lot of people have spent a lot of time in their head. And so once they get out and once they move toward the outdoors, their ideas are going to change. How they felt is going to change. Maybe what they needed before COVID is not going to be the same after COVID. Right. So keep that in mind. Just take notes. Right. Be watching of what your relationship may need on the other side of COVID. Right. Some of y'all might already be looking for the exit doors. Like, I done been quarantined with her. We done been in the house. I wish somebody just give me COVID. Like, you might be feeling like that right now, that you need it out. You just can't take anymore. But there are options.
Yes, indeed.
There are ways to change the tide, turn the tide. Right. Sometimes maybe she just can't hear you. No matter what you say, she don't hear what you say. All she hears is something else. When you're in a group setting, it helps. Yes. It helps to hear sometimes other husbands say, I've been talking to my wife about whatever. You be like, oh my gosh, I do the same thing. Or sometimes it's just enough to see somebody and think, I don't want to be that person. Right. I don't want my husband to feel like I'm disregarding him. Right. So I just, as a little note, like I said, this short conversation, hopefully you'll think about some of these things and think about what your relationship needs today, now, in 2021. Maybe it didn't need this in 2020, but this is a new year. There may be change and maybe things that you need, and there's lots of options out there, lots of ideas. This is just one. Right,
definitely. So we appreciate you guys rocking with us and hanging with us. All my replay viewers, appreciate you guys rocking as well. And we look forward to talking to you next week.
When I'm feeling better.
Feeling better. Also watch this page. We're gonna try to drop some little nuggets throughout the week, because we have a lot of outside conversations. Sometimes I wish I had the camera on just to share, because we conversate a whole lot. But as always, love unconditionally. No, love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And love on purpose. Peace out.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever.